So for exercise 2, what we're doing is we're going to go right off of exercise 1 and into exercise 2, and we're going to use this receptacle to hook up here, and then we're going to run another wire to box number 2 to hook up a second receptacle here. So we're going to go through that. We're going to show you again what tools and equipment you're going to need. You're going to need another length of conduit here. About 12 inches would be fine. This is a little long, and that'd be fine. Again, you're probably going to need your Klein wiring or alignment tool, or wire cutter. You're going to need about a 5-inch piece of copper wire that's stripped down, a 1-wire nut, another receptacle, and again, you're going to need a Phillips screwdriver and or a flat blade screwdriver, as well as your breakout box to check your work at the end. So what you're seeing here and what we see here, it's flipped, it's mirrored. So this box is going to be number 1, and this box is going to be number 2, even though when we're looking at it, you would think we're going to go this way. We're going to keep it simple, and we're going to go from box 1 to box 2, where here it's from box 1 to box 2. So I'm just going to unscrew this receptacle here, and we don't have to take anything off except for the ground. What we're actually going to do is we are going to loosen the neutral here on this side, as well as the hot on this side, and we're actually going to take this off in just a second. So let's feed our wire through. Again, we're going to go through the back of the box. If you need to break out that little notch, that's fine, but I'm going to pull this through. And again, I want about 6 inches sticking out of the box, but I need to cut back another 2 inches so I don't have a lot of conduit in the box. I don't want to fill all that space with just conduit. So make my cut, wiggle that a little bit, pull this off, and pull that back. I'm going to take a little bit more off of this side, maybe 2 inches or so. Make sure I'm using the 14. Wiggle that back and forth a little bit, pull this off, and take my paper off. Feed that through the back of the box. So for now, I'm just going to unscrew my ground because I need to do some other things with this later, and we'll do that in a second. But I'm going to unscrew my neutral. I'm going to strip my wire here on the neutral side. And you always want to keep the neutrals on the neutral side and the hots on the hot side. You don't want to mix and match, because the current is running through the hot, through the receptacle, and through the neutral. So we're going to keep neutrals with neutrals and hots with hots. Oops, too much. So if that happens, it's too much, what I'm going to do is I can get my flat blade in here. Don't poke yourself. Just open that up a little bit, and then you can get your pliers in there. Make sure it's nice and straight. You can bring that up just a little bit. And open up that a little more. Again, make sure you're going the right way. Get that hooked into place. And you can barely see it, but I'm just barely past the conduit, so I'm okay there. But again, you don't want to pinch that conduit. You don't want to pinch insulation, I should say. You just want this nut to be contacting the copper wire. So let's go to the other side. Take care of the hot side now. Just flip this around. And you might have to bend that wire a little bit. That's okay. If you don't quite get it right, that's okay. Just work with it. It's bendable. And sometimes you'll have something like this. What you can do if you want Another option for you, you can cut off just a little bit, just like that. So you have just that, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, and just use your fingernail. You can just pull that off if it's a little bit more convenient for you. You can also do that. Open it up. Hook this to your nut on this side. You want to, it's easier, the wider you open that up, the easier it is to hook on. So just open it up all the way. Check your conduit. Make sure that the insulation's not touching. Tighten that down. Now this last step, according to this, what we're going to do, this is called a pigtail. So we're going to take our wire nut and we're going to connect the one copper wire coming from this line to another copper wire coming from this line, and then a third one is going to be pigtailed here from that wire nut to our ground here. So I have my ground from power coming here. I have my other ground going to the second receptacle here. So I'm just going to kind of pinch those together. And then I have my third wire, and again, that needs to be about 5-6 inches. And I'm going to line that up here. I'm going to take my lineman pliers, and sometimes it helps if you've got another pair of pliers here where my fingers are, but if you can just grab with your fingers and you are going to twist these wires together. If it's hurting your fingers, you can use your cutters to grab it. Just don't cut through the wire. You don't want to do that, but this will help keep these wires braided together, and that way they're not coming apart. Now I still want to use my wire nut in order to help ensure that they're not going to come apart. So I'm going to just take this and I'm just going to screw this on until it gets nice and tight. You don't need to over tighten it, but you want it so it's not going to move. Give this a tug, make sure they're not going to come out. And now we're ready to attach our pigtail here to our ground here. So I created my pigtail here, and I'm going to hook that back onto my ground here. Get that in place. Again, I want to put a little tension on that. Screw this down. Give it a little tug, make sure it's secure. And now I'm ready to install my second receptacle here. And this is going to be the same thing we did in exercise 1 here with this one, and we're going to do the same thing that we did here, exercise 1, with this receptacle here on box number 2. So same thing, we're just going to hook this up here, tighten that down. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. This is going to be facing up. Okay. Put that in there. It's a little bit tighter. That's much better. Flip it around. This one's going to be facing down. Tighten this down. And then we will attach our ground here. Tighten this down. Put a little bit of tension on that, keep it in place. I didn't pre-bend this, but you can do this with your finger here. Okay, and same thing as box 1. You just want to get this in here. I'll go ahead and screw it in a little bit. And then with the test box, we want you to check both here on both these outlet plugs on this receptacle, and this one here on both these plugs on this receptacle. And over here, we should have 3 green lines.